I tried the Boring business for 12 months and made $150,000 or 2.5 million rand. Making money with local businesses is easy. And in this video, I'm going to share the framework behind starting and scaling a local service-based business based on what worked for me. And I'll share a couple of valuable business lessons along the way. If you don't know me yet, my name is Vikas. I own one of the most reviewed marketing agencies in South Africa. I've also worked with more than 300 local businesses over the past couple of years. We also own 5 of our own brands, collectively doing $1 million per month. And just to show you that this is legit, here's proof of how much we've generated over the past 12 months. And before we continue, like and subscribe for more content like this. What am I doing? I'm not actually doing the cleaning. So let's get into the 5 things that made us succeed with this business and that you can leverage to succeed in your own local business. So first up, it's business type or industry. So this is going to determine how easy or difficult it's going to be for you to actually get customers. So if you already own a business, just kind of like go through this with me to understand where you lie. If you don't have a business yet, it's important for you to pay attention because picking an industry that you are going to pursue is going to make it easier for you to actually get customers. So let's go through this. So first of all, you ideally want to be in a direct-to-consumer space where you have a lot of potential customers in a certain area, especially for local businesses, because it's much easier to advertise to consumers than it is to advertise to business owners because there's a lot more of them out there, meaning that this will also make your product in higher demand. And if your product is in higher demand, there's more customers to advertise to and more people could essentially use your services. I like to use the example of a beauty business. Any female can actually go to a beauty business and there's a high chance that, the beauty business could actually help them and they could actually pay money to that business. Where a solar business is a lot more specific, where your customers needs to own a home and needs to be able to spend a certain amount in order to buy that system. So that increases your sales process and makes it a little harder to advertise to because there's less general people in an area that might be interested in that service. If you want to make your life a lot easier, pick a very broad direct-to-consumer niche or industry. Secondly, brand is everything. So you want to make sure that your branding looks good and is congruent across your entire business. So every single touch point needs to have the same branding, and again, it needs to look really good because that's the first thing that people will see about your business, and people will already assume the quality of your service by just looking at your brand. So spend decent time and money on designing a really good professional brand. Secondly, your website is one of the most important things, and I see a website as almost like a credibility tool. So you want a credibility stack the hell out of your website, meaning before and afters, past projects, reviews, anything that also makes you unique, you need to add to this website, meaning like, are you the highest rated service in your area? That's the thing customers look for. I actually want to say your website needs to make your business and brand look bigger than you actually are, because if you get that right, people will convert on your website. Aside from that, you also need to structure your website correctly because this will also help you convert more leads that actually lands on your website. So just to recap, your website needs to be a credibility stack of what makes your business unique and how well you do your service. Thirdly, you want as many followers as possible on your pages because that emits trust and credibility. Immediately when people click on your ad and go and do research about your brand, if they see that you have a lot of followers, that's immediately going to buy a lot of trust with people. And lastly is reviews. This is probably one of the most important things that you need to focus on throughout running this business, since this will help you rank higher on Google if you get more Google reviews. Google looks at how consistently you get new reviews and what is in those reviews to rank you organically in your area. This is also great to display on your website, and it's just overall going to help your brand with trust. And if you do actually start running ads, you will convert a lot more leads if you have a decent number of reviews. Number 3 is paid ads. it doesn't help we have a good looking website or a good looking brand without actually getting customers to see it. So for local businesses, we have two options, Facebook ads or Google ads, where Facebook ads is normally used in more direct to consumer businesses, meaning that you have a wider audience. This is ideal for cleaning businesses and even beauty businesses, which again has a wide audience. Google ads is more for specific intent driven businesses. This is normally higher ticket services that would use Google ads or more business to business types of businesses. Then we get to omni-focused approach. Now this is where you really start scaling a business, is when you're using both platforms together to get customers for your business. Now you're always going to use one platform more than the other depending on your industry or niche, but ultimately there's still room to use both to scale a business, and that is exactly what we are actually doing with our cleaning business, except we are using a lot more Facebook ads than Google ads, since this is essentially our niches or industry's main platform to get more customers. And by leveraging paid ads and an omni-focused approach, we are able to create the success that we do. Number 4 is lead conversion. So we are spending a lot of money on ads, and we want to make sure that we maximize every single lead coming through our pipeline, that we contact them as soon as they land into our CRM system, which is basically just a system that helps us manage each lead in every stage of our business. So again, as I mentioned, speed to lead is also really important here, because we want to make sure as soon as that lead lands in our inbox that we reach out to them, because that's when intent is the highest and our chance to actually convert them is the highest. A lot of people get this wrong, where they wait too long to contact those leads, and that's normally when they go cold and you basically lose the opportunity to capture them as a client. And then lastly is also lead nurturing. So you can't just contact a lead once. They need to, get added to an email database. They need to get lead nurturing sequences, and you need to stay in their face through, also ad remarketing, so that they ultimately get indoctrinated over time, for lack of a better word. That's going to help you convert leads in the future as well. So using these three systems together, that's going to help you create continuity in your business and help you maximize every cent that you are spending on ads. And lastly is predictable expansion. So this is where a lot of businesses go wrong and why they struggle to expand their businesses. I want to actually start off with limit personal company expenses. Out of the many years of me running a marketing agency and seeing the back end of a lot of local businesses, this is often the number one thing that keeps them from expansion, because they have too much expenses themselves in the business. So they can't deploy that into more marketing resources, sales resources, or just spending more on ads to get more customers ultimately. So limit your personal expenses in the business for as long and as far as you can. Then expand based on data. So you want to always make sure that demand always exceeds supply in essence. So you have more leads than you can handle, or more business than you can handle. That's going to ensure that when you do expand or invest more money into the business and create more overheads, that there's already a flow of cash to support that. Then lastly, keep business expenses in check. So it's easy to lose track of how much you're spending in the business if you don't have a finger on the pulse. So you need some form of sheet where you do a live P&L or something every single month to make sure that you know exactly what's coming in and what's going out and how much money your customer still owes you, because a lot of businesses don't keep that in check, and that ultimately creates their downfall and prevents them from scaling the business. While everybody chases the next big thing, this goes to show that boring businesses executed well can still make a lot of money. I hope this helped.